In this episode, we're talking about how you could rank YouTube videos in a few seconds flat. Now, you can predict before you even film whether a video will take a long time to rank or whether you can really get it to rank within a few seconds. This is what I do. I've helped many people dominate YouTube search with hundreds and hundreds of videos that are ranking #1 on YouTube. And in this episode, I'm going to show you how to do it in a few seconds flat. So let's talk about what does it even mean to rank on YouTube. Just so we're clear, let me show you an example here. If you go to YouTube and you type in how to get business credit with poor personal credit, Noelle Randall is ranking at the top. She's the #1 video. If you type in buying vacant land in Florida, you find Brent Bowers ranked at the very top. If you type in are fixed indexed annuities a good investment, we find Stan the Annuity Man ranked at the very top. If you type in how do millionaires build wealth using life insurance, you find Doug Andrew ranked at the top. Type in that question, you find Jason Schroeder ranked at the top. If you type in this question, you find Michelle Villalobos ranked #2 and 3 at the top. Type in this question, you find Jason Hewlett ranked at the top. If you type in this question, you find Ted Thomas ranked at the top. This question, you find Laurel Langmeyer. This question, you find Dr. Carrie Ann Perkins. This question, you find Jay Townsend. This question, you find Chad Littlefield. This question, you find Paul Jenkins and Nicolene Peck. So each one of these examples that I showed you is just one of hundreds of videos that they each rank for at the very top of YouTube. You might have noticed something about each of the questions. Each of the questions was very, very specific. The more specific the question is, typically that means the less competitions. And let me define specific even more, right? So the more words you have in a question and the lower the search volume on that question. You still want consistent search volume every month, but you don't want to go after the ones that have the highest numbers. You want to go after those that have 10 or 20 or 30 searches a month. So if you go after low search volume that's still consistent and a long number of words, guess what? Those are the videos that you can rank on YouTube in a few seconds flat. Now, I use a spreadsheet to track ranking. This is for a parenting channel. And you can see on November 27th and December 10th, we had a score of 1.5. This just adds up all the yeses. Yeses have a score of 1, and startings have a score of 0.25. I just made this up. This is a Google spreadsheet. So when I searched on November 27th, I typed this question into YouTube, and I found Nicolene at the top. She was in the top 3, so I put yes. Starting means I had to scroll down, but I still found her in the top 20. So you add all those up, and I had a score of 1.5. We filmed a few of these videos on this branch. A couple weeks later, by the end of December, we had a score of 3.75. Into January, we had a score of 6.25 and 6. Let me show you another example in a different industry. This is for Jason Schroeder, who provides consulting in the construction industry. And you can see on 10/15, October, he had a score of 3.25. So he had some traction on this branch, but none of the videos were actually at the top. You had to scroll down to find him for all of these searches. But a month later, he had several yeses. He had a score of 8. A couple weeks later, that same month, up to 11. A week or two later, the next month, a score of 18. And by the end of December, he had a perfect score. He was ranking for 21 out of 21 at the very top. We checked a couple months later, and still he's dominating this branch. The gold is finding these specific questions, making sure that they have consistent search volume every single month. That means if you record a video and make that question the title of that video and you answer that question, your video has a built-in audience before you even launch, right? There are people waiting to get your video. So here's how you do that research. You bring up this tool. This is my favorite tool. It's called the Keyword Magic Tool. It's on a website called SEMrush. Now, you can get a free trial of this tool. It's a 2-week free trial if you go to herokeywordtool.com, right? They have a whole suite of tools. The one that I use is this one right here called the Keyword Magic Tool. Now, one of my clients ranks for all things about becoming a politician or how to win an election or how to run for office. So let's just type in one of those topics, become politician. Okay, so there's a huge search volume. We're going to filter out those things that are not questions, and I want lots of words. So I'm going to turn up the word count filter to 8 or more, and let's see what we've got. Yeah, so every one of these questions has 8 or more words. That one has 90 searches a month, so we might hold off. If you were brand new in this space, you would want to wait till later to do this one. But all these other ones that have 20 and a lot more that go down to 10. So look at all these. What qualifications do you need to become a politician? What courses to take? How to become an independent politician in Australia? You know, so on and so forth. You're going to pull out the ones that are unique questions that are relevant, and then you film a video that answers that question. You provide value so that the person watching it can really appreciate that. They really get the help that they need, and guess what that does? Builds a relationship. They feel like they know you and they trust you because you've helped them out. So what videos take the longest to rank? Well, look at this visual of a staircase, okay? If we want to rank for those that have the highest search volume, if we think of it like a staircase, those are the ones that are the hardest to rank for. If you're going to climb a staircase, where do you start, right? You don't start with the ones at the top of the stairs. You start with the bottom step. So if we apply that to the search volume for these keywords, we can also apply it to the number of words in a question, having the most number of words down at the bottom. We start with the lower step. And when we're dominating the questions that have 10 searches per month, then we go after those for 20. And when we dominate those, when I say dominate, meaning we turn those no's into yeses, then we go to the 30s, then we go to the 40s. Eventually, we dominate this entire staircase, right? For that 2 or 3 word phrase that we type in, our videos are always at the top. So let me show you some examples. I'll type in become politician, a 2-word search. Okay, and we've got Jay Townsend ranking at the top. What if we type in construction management? Here we go. We've got Jason Schroeder ranking at the top. What if we type in discipline teenager? There we go. We've got Nicolene Peck ranking at the top. And look how she got there. This is a 10-word question, how to discipline a teenager who doesn't care about consequences. We posted this video 2 years ago. It's had 28,000 views in that time frame. This is one of many videos that we've got ranking at the top for very specific questions, and eventually you dominate the entire category. So that's why now we can type in a 2-word phrase and have her rank at the very top. So if we consider this video like a mini course or a mini introduction into this topic, I've actually created a full course, and I've put it right here on YouTube as well. I'll link to that video right there. It's called YouTube SEO Full Course. If you want to know every step I follow on every one of these videos to get them ranking at the top, that's the video for you. You can watch that. You'll learn the tactics. It's not just theory. We've been kind of talking about theory and showing you results, but in that video, I'm going to show you the how. Like, do this, do that, do this next. If you follow those steps, your videos will rank at the top of YouTube.